Hello guys, Flub here, and I just wanted to have a quick what is session on one of my favourite games, Space Engineers. So today I heard that the developers, or the game itself, have finally been placed on PC Gamer's list of the best space games that there are. A well-deserved title, but the game itself, I mean, while being quite successful on Steam, is still not a huge game across the board. And I just wanted to kind of discuss it and sort of raise the awareness. I'm not the biggest channel in the world, but I love this game to death, and I just think it needs to be put out there. Some people talk about it as if it's like Minecraft. I agree to some extent, but for the most part, I would say the easiest way of describing it would be Lego. A game of Lego that basically is infinitely big, and in which you can get as many items as you want to put in there, free of charge from the workshop. The game is about £18.99, that is, in sterling. But it's still, obviously still in beta, but it's one of the most, if you enjoy playing with Legos, it's one of the most fun games that you could probably ever get. So the way the game works, quite simply, is you have two modes. You've got survival, you've got creative. Survival mode is a bit like well, I mean, again, we're talking about the Minecraft similarity. So in Space Engineers survival mode, you basically have to build a shelter. You have to make sure that you don't run out of oxygen, run out of the fuel that you need to keep everything running. So it's grinding, it's mining, it's building. Until your heart's content, really. There isn't any particular end game for them for the most part. That kind of comes into the more creative side of it. So the reason why I enjoy this game so much is because it's so sandbox, it's almost ridiculous in terms of what you can actually do. So the game itself is a blank canvas. If you sit in creative mode, you literally spawn into, if you want to, an empty world, or sorry, an empty universe even. But into that world, you can spawn planets, you can spawn asteroids, you can spawn ships, whether you've built them or you've got them from the workshop. You can spawn almost anything you think of into it. You can script them to do specific things. They can fly in, like the ships themselves can fly in patrols. They can do whatever you want them to do. You can change the factions, so you can set up whole scenarios whereby you have to potentially invade an enemy base, get something from there, or blow something up there, or blow the base up itself, and get out. And you can make the base itself a part of an enemy NPC, so that the actual defences on the base will attack you. And that kind of brings me to the other point, and that is that, unlike Lego, where you build a spaceship and awesome, it's there, this game actually brings them to life. So you actually get a chance to fly around in the things that you build. So it's something you spend hours and hours building. I mean, I have lost countless hours to this game. It's unreal how long you can spend just building stuff. Then you can use it. I mean, for the most part, you can battle your friends. You can fight randomers online if you have a sort of Discord community or something that you're a part of, or if you know anyone that you reckon would be into the game. You can just get them to come along and bring their creations along, and you can fight each other, or you can build something together. It's completely up to you, but the idea behind it is that you create something that you can then use as it's intended to be used. It's not just sat there as a static object. Same thing goes for buildings you create. They work as you would like them to. And the point of the game at the moment, as far as I can see it, is that it's one of the most moddable games in the world, in terms of what you can actually do with it. People are constantly putting things up on the Steam Workshop, but there are literally hundreds of thousands of moddable items that have been put on there, from the spaceships that you can fly, to the buildings you can use, to scripts. I mean, that's another really big part of it. If you can code, then the options are almost limitless in Space Engineers into what you can do. And you can download these scripts as well. I mean, some of them are as simple as setting up visualizations in your cockpit so that you can see how much fuel you have, how fast you're going. But some of them are just insane, down to, I mean, things that seem simple. People have scripted airlocks. So just having two doors and having a single button you press where everything's timed to let the air pressure out, to change the equalization in there so that you don't have to worry about the oxygen blowing out, or for yourself losing any oxygen. And obviously for creative mode it's not a big issue, you're basically immortal on there. But for for survival mode, those sort of things are just incredible. I mean, the amount of mods I've downloaded, I have hundreds and hundreds of mods, and I mean, sometimes it's a bit of a nightmare actually getting the right ones into a game that I want to play. The game allows you to put together pretty much anything you want in terms of scenarios. So, I mean, there are some amazing sort of group scenario or group survival stories out there. Captain Shack, Morphologists, Wasted Space, Captain Jack, all those people have got some amazing series. There are some series that they've written together or they've played out together that, I mean, they just play out like an actual sci-fi show. The camera angles, the lighting, the sets are all built in game, and they just look incredible. And the game developers are actually adding things in there such as sweeping camera angles and coded camera angles that you can put in there. You can actually change, so you can actually set things up to be really beautiful glided shots that can go for miles. And yeah, I mean, it basically is whatever you want it to be. There is a campaign in there as well, which is recently added. It's kind of being added to as they go. So every now and then they just add an extra mission on there. But for the most part, it's kind of a tutorial to kind of introduce new players into the game, because it can be quite a scary experience when you first start it. It's a very overwhelming game in that respect. But once you pick up the basics, it's one of the easiest game in the world. I mean, I'm kind of talking over a blank screen right now, but I'm going to throw up some images of things that I've created and things that I've done in the game itself, and times that I've played with other people, which have just been hilarious. I can remember doing some incredible things, such as crash landing a CR-90 from Star Wars into a planet by accident because I didn't really know how it was working, and having huge space battles and just ridiculous builds. I mean, I've built the Millennium Falcon, I've built Star Destroyers, I've built the Starship Enterprise, and these things are just massive. That kind of leads me to another issue though, which is not so much an issue. So obviously it is in beta, the actual game itself. It's not fully optimized. There are some issues still on there in terms of optimization. Any lower end machines will struggle with it a little bit, so you have to kind of give it a tiny bit of leeway when it comes to the sort of the big scales of some of these ships. I mean, you can get 1/1 scale Star Destroyers, 1/1 scale Enterprises, and they look fantastic, but they will kill your frame rate if your PC cannot handle it. So it's sometimes worth maybe just letting it tick over a bit, just building up to that, because you can quite easily sort of crash the game by doing things like that. Saying that, it is getting better. They are optimizing it bit by bit. The multiplayer is almost fantastic compared to where it started, which was constant lag, constant crashes, constant weird and wacky things happening. I mean, if you watch some of the series I spoke about earlier, especially the XP Gamers series that they had, some of the weird sort of model errors they had, such as guns that would stay pointing a certain direction no matter what happened to the person holding it, so they could be holding their gun behind their back. It just looked ridiculous, but sometimes it adds to the charm. It can be quite funny occasionally. Some of them can be annoying, but it's just how it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm going to throw up some images of the game, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there because I want to start sort of using this game a little bit more in what I'm doing on the channel. I really enjoy this game a lot, and it's just so much fun to play. I just really want to get the game out there as a sort of big title, because at the end of the day it is really good, and there's so many games now that are kind of building off that. I mean, you've got Dual Universe, which is coming out soon, which builds off the same sort of thing, and you've got Star Citizen coming out and all these sort of things. I mean, obviously Star Citizen building, but these big space sims are coming out, and I kind of feel like Space Engineers has every danger of being brushed under the carpet a little bit, and I don't want that to happen, because even though it's a much smaller gaming community, it is such a huge success in terms of what it's accomplished. People talk about how Dual Universe may not be able to accomplish X, Y, and Z. Sometimes haven't played Space Engineers and realise exactly what has been accomplished already in much smaller games. And as I said, the game's getting better and better all the time. It's definitely worth picking it up for the price it's on there for, and it's definitely worth getting as many of your friends on there as possible, because it is a bunch of fun. So as I said, if you like Lego, or if you used to like Lego, or if you're one of these nostalgic people like myself who have a box of Lego that I haven't touched in years, then just grab this thing, because it will really, really just you'll lose hours to it. Whether that's good for you or not, I don't know. But for me, it's just a lot of fun, and I just really want to kind of get that out there. So for sure, pick up this game. You'll be seeing a lot more content on this game from me in the foreseeable future. I'm thinking of doing ship builds. So if anyone has any sort of, just give me some ideas. If you have any ships you want me to build, just let me know, and I will just try and put some stuff together. I mean, it could be quite fun. It probably ends up being terrible. I'm not the greatest of builders on there at the moment. I'm still learning, but I'm willing to give anything a go. So yeah, just pick up the game. Just do it, guys. Come on. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Right, we should flip out.